Hello everybody, hello, welcome back to Lozy PC and welcome back to War in the Pacific and our play-by-email game versus Invictus. So, we have been slowly kind of progressing our plans and taking on some advice from other players in regards particularly to submarines, and we're going to see kind of, that's not gone into action just yet, but hopefully the ideas will go forward and hopefully everything's going to go pretty smoothly, which is absolutely never going to go smoothly. So here we see one of our submarines getting harassed, I think is a good way to call it, by US submarines just off the coast of Pearl Harbor. Not too much damage being done, but there is some damage on the I-23 there. There is a hit, so nothing too significant, but obviously something which is still important there. Elsewhere, we still see submarines off the coast of Indochina and the coast of Malaya that we're hopefully trying to deal with. But again, it's a bit of a, we've got to keep up that fight against the Allied submarines. Again, here we see one of our submarines not doing a lot. There is a lot of ships there. These are guys who are still offloading supplies at Legis Spy. Again, probably pronounced that wrong. So they're going to be offloading a load of supplies there. And here at Tarakan we have ships bombarding, but again being shot at by coastal gun battalions. Now, from what I'm aware, there is no transport ships here anymore because it's fucking got and luckily nothing there is getting hit, so that's all fine and well. Again, hopefully we can deal with Tarakan quicker and sooner rather than later, because at least with then that being done we can move forward. Again, we're moving through night, which is always the slowest bit. Having a look what's going on in regards to our shipping, we are seeing again more Allied submarines failing to hit, and then we get one of ours absolutely wrecking a yard patrol. Not great, but hey, I'm going to take the morale victories. So let's see what goes on during the day. Now again, I have had some advice on where I should be targeting aircraft, and we'll come on to that in a moment, because as you just saw there was zeros flying over Changsha and there was no fucking P-40s. There's no P-40s flying around, which is kind of frustrating, because that's obviously why we've put those zeros over there in an attempt to try and drag those P-40s of the AVG and the Flying Tigers out into combat. Here we've got a load of ANs that are unprotected and just getting absolutely wrecked by Blenheims, so not great. So yeah, not ideal. And even when we bombard Kukong, no P-40 Warhawks. So interesting. I don't know if the way Invictus is planning to do this was he flying them all at once for a couple of days and then letting them sit down for a day or two, stand down for a day or two. Sorry. Yeah, a bit of an odd one. So we will keep the zeros over there and whatever and see what we can find. So the advice I was given for air bombardment is keep an eye on terrain. Units in clear terrain are going to be the ones that have the most chance of taking casualties, but also interdiction flights. So this is where they attack moving units. So if we see that our recon or something has spotted units that are moving, then we should be using our bombers to try and hit those. And if we do so, then what we are able to do with that is cause even more casualties. So if something is in the clear terrain, if something is moving, then we want to bombard it with aircraft. Another good victory there for us just south of Xinjiang. It seems that Invictus has managed to get some troops out of that area. Here is Tarakan, and unfortunately it doesn't fall, and actually we take quite a few more casualties than Invictus does, which is again frustrating, but one of those things. And then here is an Allied bombardment attack at Clark Field. Again, this is not ideal, and we will see on the casualties that again a lot of casualties being suffered. Not too many things being destroyed, which is always good, because then we can replenish them quite quickly, but still not good. An allied bombardment attack at Tarakan, it doesn't really do much. And yeah, that pretty much ends the combat for the day. So a pretty speedy combat turn, which is, you know, sometimes nice. You know, the quicker it is, the less chance there is of me having stuff going wrong. But here we're just going to kind of go to Phnom Penh and keep its airport at level 5 and just have a look at what it's got. Because we can see that it's got some sallies here, and again we can see units in the open on the move. So we're going to apply this, but unfortunately, despite me not realizing the first time, these are slightly out of range. So I'm going like, that didn't work, let me just double check. It's not clear as such, it's jungle, so it still will give them a bit of cover, but they're on the move, so hopefully that will be good. I'm going to try again, and I'm going to realize that it's too far, and then, you know, not worry about range being too far, because I'm an idiot. I didn't read it the first time. Sometimes that happens, you know. Sometimes I click on something, I don't see it, and then I do it again, and I'm like, oh right, okay. So we're kind of just having a look, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, so where should I send these? We could send them to Khom Thrak, which is just south of Phnom Penh. We could send them over to Malaya, but then the problem with Malaya and Singora, Partini for example, they aren't big enough air bases yet. They're not level 5, so twin engine bombers will suffer. Well, I think maybe even level 4 actually is the minimum level, and level 5 is for things like B-17. So, you know, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, you know, we do have some lilies here. And lilies can actually reach, so what we're going to do is just for a couple of turns set them for, you know, a couple of days, lilies to fly all of their flights out there. We're going to put the Oscars here on escort, just in case, you know, if we haven't found the flying tigers yet, it might mean that he's been moving them, or there's, you know, we know that there was Blenheims over there. So, you know, there's every chance that those Blenheims are going to cause us some problems. Now, something I want to do is get some more Oscars and aircraft into Malaya, just to keep on air superiority, keep that up. We do have this on long range cap and just combat air patrol, so again, we'll see what that does there. Elsewhere, Tarakan, just check that that's still on deliberate attack, which it is. We still have a decent amount of assault value there, so I'm kind of happy there. Everything seems fine in Balikpapan, and let's just kind of check what's going on over here. So we do need to get some more Air Force units around, and that is a big thing. Now, we have got some Air Force units here landing at Rabaul, which will be good. We've got some scout aircraft here, but something that I need to do in Rabaul is I need to get some aircraft, some fighter aircraft down here, just to try and help us keep and, you know, maintain air superiority. Now, this unit only going to give us 24 aviation support, but that's enough for some zeros while we build up the base and get some more things in. There are some Claudes here, and looking at them, you know, I was tempted to move these guys down. I kind of then realized, should we upgrade them to zeros? They also are due to be removed on the 1st of April, so I'm kind of like, I know that's a while away, but we'll keep them there. Nothing really over here, but then I realize in a little bit that there is some zeros that are hanging around in in southern Vietnam, and we're going to move those guys down. And zeros are great because zeros with drop tanks can fly for miles and miles and miles. So we should be able, with those zeros, from Cam Ranh Bay to kind of drop them. You know, they'll be able to fly into Miri, then fly into Balikpapan, then fly into Ternate, then fly probably from there to Truck, and then Truck into Rabaul. And that will give us just, you know, a good kind of unit. Okay, they're in Sok Thrang at the moment, the zeros that I'm on about. That'll give us just a kind of good unit to use. you know, it should be able to deal with anything that the Allies have at the moment, and throw at us. And you know, we do have a couple of carriers that are going down towards Rabaul and Truck. So again, if we see, you know, carrier fighters then and carrier attack craft, then we know we can use our carriers and kind of spring into action. But the zeros that we're going to have there are going to be as a way to kind of you know, just cover from land-based aircraft mostly, and we'll see how things go. Now what I am going to do is get these Nels to bombard those units in central Malaya, near Kuala Lumpur, that are on the move. These will be on interdiction, as well as Betty bombers. Again, we're going to get most of them doing it this turn. Hopefully the Oscars that are flying with the Lilies will provide air cover, and you know, they might not be able to do it for the Betty bombers and the Nels, but hopefully what they will do is they will provide enough cover to kind of put the Blenheims out of action. But here we can see we have some zeros. There is also some Claudes here as well, which we can move to somewhere like Saigon to get upgraded in the future to zeros, which will be very, very useful. But yes, these zeros here are what we are going to move. So as we can see, if we put them onto using drop tanks, they can go up to 36 tiles, which they can fly straight to Balikpapan from there. So yeah, we'll be able to kind of fly them to where we need them to go over the next few days. So that's going to be really, really nice. And that's kind of going to be the main focus of what we want to do over the next few days. It's just on our major bases that we've already captured, set up defensive positions. On the kind of other key bases, you know, we're going to look at our invasion of Palmerbang in a minute, which we are using the 124th Infantry Regiment, which is part of 31st Division, which mostly is in Shanghai or China. So, you know, we're just going to have to use the 124th. Once it takes Palmerbang and we've got it kind of secure and, you know, chill, then we can send it back and we can, you know, maybe build the 31st Division in China. And yeah, elsewhere in China things are generally going pretty okay at the moment. You know, I'm not committing as much troops as I have done compared to other campaigns that I've done, but yeah, it's still useful. Malaya is progressing slowly but surely is the key thing with our progress in Malaya. Again, just looking at what we've got going on over here, we have the 16th Naval Guard Unit. I tried to move it to capture this other little base, and I forget that you can't. So that's just going to sit there for the time being. And yeah, you know, generally so far most things need to be most things are where we need them to be. But something I'm a little bit worried about is at Gasmata, which is the 3 units of Naval Guard that we kind of use to help secure New Britain quickly. There is a little port there, nothing big, but a little one. And these guys don't need a lot of supply to begin with. So what I'm going to do is just get a couple of AKLs, even these small ones that can only have 170 cargo, gather them together, get 4 of them, and they're going to go take some supplies. They can only carry about 700 supplies, but that'll be enough for a few days at Gasmata. It'll allow us to get the zeros up. It'll allow us to get Mavises to make sure that everything's safe. Then we can get some bigger ships to kind of come in and move them. You know, obviously we want to think about moving into Guadalcanal, as well as obviously fortifying Rabaul and making sure everything is safe there. We have our invasion of Ocean Island that is on its way from Macon, which is pretty cool, again with the 51st Naval Guard Unit, so that's going to be all fine. I'm going to cancel load supplies because it's probably got enough right now, and I'm just kind of checking to see if there's any particular units or anything over here, but in a general sense of things, that's kind of it for today. Most of the rest of what we did today was kind of checking on a few things, moving some aircraft around, checking that Mavises were doing what Mavises need to do, so like anti-submarine patrols and things like that. But yeah, not too much, just a little bit of a little bit of admin work. So I will save that for you all, and we will leave it here as I'm kind of moving some submarines around again, thinking about what I'm going to do with my sub plans. But until next time, everybody, please do have a wonderful day, and please do hit that subscribe button and come join us on the Discord because it really, really helps. But until next time, have a good one. Cheers. Bye.